Now, this last article of the, this last article of the day, I wanted to share with you. Now, this is from the Asia Insider, and it basically says Johnson and Johnson will have 6 to 800 million coronavirus vaccines. Now, John, first off, I don't know how you feel about the vaccine, but this brought up a dilemma for me, which let's read the article first, and then I will explain to you why this one article really may ignite things if it goes mainstream. The pharmaceutical giant will have 600 million to 800 million vaccines available in early 2021, which it expects the U.S. government to approve the drug. It plans to start testing in humans this September. Chief Financial Office Joe Walk said Tuesday. The timeline still is pretty certain, Walk told an interviewer. We are manufacturing the risk to ensure that should the clinical development and the trial be successful, we are in a position to kind of flip the switch and ready to create and get access to this vaccine around the whole world. The company aims to ramp up production to 1 billion doses annually by the end of next year, Wolk said in an interview. J&J and the Federal Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority announced a $1 billion investment last month to help achieve this goal. Johnson & Johnson plans to set a new manufacturing facility in the U.S. to supplement the company's plant in the Netherlands that can produce up to 30 million doses. The stateside factory will be up and running later this year or early next year. All right, so now let me give you my thoughts on this. Stay with me, okay? Okay, well, where do we start? First off, for those of you that don't know, Johnson & Johnson is the biggest medical provider to make medicine in the world, okay? And they are making this for COVID-19. Now, this is why I have an issue with it. First, okay, so the other biggest manufacturer. Now, you may recall earlier there was a Tylenol scandal, okay? Now, during the Tylenol scandal, their drug actually had to be recalled because it was causing people sick, and then they were even thinking about changing the name, except it was so long. Now, beyond that, and we're going to get to the Johnson & Johnson, by the way, has had many side effects for vaccines they've given out. I'll go over those in a minute. But this is why it stuck out to me. You might recall a year or two ago, there was a commercial from Schick Razor, Toxic Masculinity. And Johnson & Johnson is the head company of Schick. So how do you men feel about taking a vaccine about a company that thinks you're too toxic? Maybe they could put something in there to make you more feminine. I don't know. Actually, I do know. Well, good guess at that, because if we go to our Drug Watch article here, some of their vaccines have made men have man boobs, which we'll get to in a second. So that brings me to my next thing. Do you think men might protest this or protest this company? And even if you do or don't, would you trust Johnson & Johnson to put something inside of you? Now, let's go here because I'm going to show you something. Okay. Thank you for having me back. Now let's take a look at the notable Johnson & Johnson recalls. 1982, recalled Tylenol capsules. Why? The medicine was laced with poison. Good. 2009 to 2011, several OTC medicines, including Tylenol, Motrin, and Benadryl, had to be recalled. Why? Because the unpleasant smell. By the way, Johnson & Johnson also has the copyrights to the drugs they treat for your opioid crisis. That's not in here, but we can Google that. So, yeah, for your opioid crisis, you're paying them to hook you up and give you treatment. Okay, and moving on. What else do they have? The 2010 product recall. What did they recall? The ASR hip resurfacing system. Why? Metal poisoning. Wow, what's with all this poisoning? 2012, Johnson & Johnson generic profile kit. Why did they recall this? Perforation organs. Wow. So basically they're causing internal bleeding and scarring. Wow, that's great. And then 2013, the Motrin. Why? May contain teeny parcels of plastic. Wow, so now you're putting plastic in your body, poison in your body. They're making you bleed. Now let's keep going on. In 2013, what did they do? The Risperdal Concerta, the injectable drug. What was wrong with it? Routine testing showed evidence of mold. Wow, now we're putting poison, plastic, and mold, and causing bleeding in our body. Oh my God. Okay. Next, 2014. Power motor colors. What did they do? The rapid progression of the disease. Wow, it spread urinary cancer. Wow, what do you know? It caused you to die sooner. Maybe this is what the government is putting in that vaccine. They want you to die sooner. They don't want you to collect your Medicare checks or whatever, your retirement checks. Just die. We want you while you're young and you can work, and we don't want to support you. Actually, we want to replace you. 2016, product recall. Oh, wow. Why was this recalled? Studies show higher revision rates after implement. Wow, so it did the opposite of what it said it was going to do. 2017, product recalled. Aegis sterile intruder shelf. The heart valve. So it's a heart valve. Uh-oh. So to do an improper seal. So guess what? They're putting this in your heart, and it is wrong. They wanted your heart to go pop, baby. So what can allow blood blockage? Yes, blood blockage, so your heart's going to pop. And guess what? You're gone. Now, keeping all of that in mind, do you want poison, mold, plastic? Do you want your heart to go pop? Do you want the chances of perhaps you to catch the disease easier? Because like I said, one of their lawsuits was that it increased the rate of cancer and then increased the rate of the other disease. Maybe this vaccine can do all of that to you? So would you trust that? Or would you protest it since they also own shit? Because maybe they want to turn your masculinity to femininity. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe below. I am not going to let anybody put that inside of me. Hi. The small clip you saw was brought to you by Loyal World News. If you like what you saw, you should subscribe and look up my daily Loyal World News report for its full version. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, prefer to be on the road, I also have a podcast in every full-length video I put up.